Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ASRA Cup Series here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Season 5 2023 Championship Race presented by Battle Beaver. We've got 167 laps in total and 4 drivers battling for the championship. The number 26 of Devon, Brandon 6, Roger Pierce, and Frankie Gross are going to battle it out all day long to try to get a win out here. Who is going to be the champion at the end of the race? My name's Jake Emery alongside Steven Tucker. Steve, how we feeling today? We're in Charlotte and we're about to go racing.
Man, we are feeling good today. I mean, the culmination of the entire season has come down to Charlotte, and it is going to be a fun time today. Sunset race, longer race than normal, 167 laps, 2 stages still, but overall a great time. And man, we have some of the greatest contenders we've ever had in these 4. Keep in mind too, the contender 4 drivers, we'll talk about them in a second, but man, it is going to be a barn burner today to see who wins this championship.
You're right, qualifying has started. Today's race at Charlotte, stage 1 is going to be at 25, stage 2 is going to be at 55, and what a track. Charlotte brings so much action. This is a fantastic way to end the season. Who's going to take the pole? Because I believe track position is going to play a big key today. And again, day and tonight race, so a little bit different. We're going to have the lights come on when this ends. Cannot wait. Honeycutt at number 3, he's got the pole as it stands. We've got a ton of more drivers on the track trying to put in some time.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of time right here. I mean, right now, Devin Smirker on top of the boards, 29.15. Donnie Honeycutt as well putting in some time, but right now, a lot is going on. So on the left side of your screen, folks, keep in mind, the lime green, those are your championship 4 drivers. The ones in the yellow, those are your contender 4 drivers. So these guys have gone down throughout the entire playoff brackets, and they are going to be your drivers. So for the championship contenders, hey, those guys right there in the green, whoever finishes ahead of the other 3, they are the champion for Season 5 of the ASRA Cup Series. Same thing goes for the contender 4. So those guys, whoever finishes ahead of the other 3 in yellow, they will be your contender champion as well. So essentially, they're kind of like an best of the rest championship bracket. All the guys who didn't make it into the championship and whatnot. So a lot of cool stuff. Brandon 6 right now at the 29.20. That'll be it for him. So Devin Smirker so far with that provisional pole, looking very fast right now.
Shocker to have those 2 drivers, the numbers 66 and 26 up front. And then now we have Frankie in the 48, that Chevy. He's in 3rd. So your championship contenders right there, 1, 2, and 3 as it sits. Can Roger Pierce come out here and make a time and get up top and try to get that pole? We'll see what can happen. But man, the field is tight already, Steve. Look at those top tier drivers up front, up top, as they should be.
Oh yeah, right now we're going to see all these guys, rise to the top, right? This is it. This is Charlotte. This is the championship race. These guys, this is make it or break it, right? This is the format, though. Brandon 6, throughout the entirety of this season, right? We'll talk about him a lot this race. He's the one that probably is the most deserving, you could say. But man, that one race championship, Devin Smirker, Brandon 6, all these guys, Frankie Broso, you just never know. It's a one race deal. And Jamie Graham, Devin Smirker's teammate, has found something too. 29.2 essentially matches the time of Brandon 6, and there he is in P2, and that'll be qualifying. Emery.
That is qualifying. Next up is the race. These guys are done. Devin in the 26 is at that pole sitter. He's in front. Jamie Graham in the 62. He's in 2nd. Brandon 6 in the 66 3rd. Frankie Barroso and Nick Lice. That's your top 5 as it sits. Man, Roger Pierce dropping down to 10th. Not the qualifying he wanted. He's kind of been under the weather this week, so hopefully he can put together a good run and get to the top. But man, oh man, what a season. And it's all coming down to Charlotte. Love to see that. Steve, we're about to go green. These guys are gritting up on the track right now.
Yes, sir. Right now, this is always a great time. Charlotte puts all these cars in the front of the front stretch right here. So a fun time. Once we get all these drivers on the track, we'll go through the grid. But Devin Smirker is going to be your pole sitter. Big effort right there for him. So has his teammate in P2. That could be pretty big. I've got a feeling that might play a pretty big role into this race right here. Tires will be huge. Tire saving, fuel mileage, especially in that second half of the race. A lot of storylines here today, Emery.
Yeah, this track provides so much action like I was talking about. It's a fast track. You can do some side-by-side, at times even 3 wide. It's a little bit dangerous. But man, by that start-finish line, it gets a little dicey. It can get really tight through those areas. So I think that's where you see some chaos happen. But man, I think they'll keep it clean. We've had a really good season. These drivers know what they're doing. We got a good field out here. Almost 20 drivers, 19 drivers, and cannot wait for this race to start. A lot of stuff going on, Steve.
Yes, sir. And right now, the grid is here. Devin Smirker is your pole sitter, starting off in P1. Jimmy Graham, his teammate, rolling off in P2. Brandon Six, third place. Looking good right there. Frankie Barroso, his teammate as well, following closely in P4. Nick Light's always strong as of late, rolling off P5. Tyler Honeycutt involved, P6 right here. Donnie Honeycutt, one of those drivers going for that contender 4. So watch out for those yellow banners on the top of their cars. Also the yellow on the left side of your screen above that tower. Julio Villalobos rolling off P8. Joseph Mealy rolling off 9th place. Another contender driver, Roger Pierce, your 4th championship driver. Looking to get that big championship today. Kenny Reel rolling off P11, contender driver as well. Matthew Fleming, another contender. Richard Woodruff rolling off 13th place. Josh Larson, 14th. Michael Lanfear rolling off 15th. Marshall Harris right here in P16, looking pretty good. James Kaufman rolling off 17th. And then rounding up the field, Nick Simpson. That'll be your starting grid, folks. 18 cars on the grid. Right now, today, we are about to find out who is going to be the champion of the ASRA Cup Series season number 5. Our 5th season, but more importantly, we are going to crown a 5th different champion today, Emery.
Yes, we will. And what a season it's been. 1.5 mile racetrack, Charlotte Motor Speedway. We are going to go green here shortly. Thanks for everybody at home tuning in at Race Day Live. We appreciate you being here all season long. And man, we're going to go green. Lights on the pace car are off. Cannot wait for this flag to drop. Devin in that 26 is out front. He'll lead us into turn 1 and 2. Jamie Graham. Jamie Graham in the 62, that Ford, he's in 2nd. Brandon Six up there in 3rd. I think he likes that spot, Steve. We'll see what we can do. Pace car is off. We're going to go green. Devin in that Ford is going to take us to a green flag drop, and we're on the way. Green flag here at Charlotte.
Brandon Six, early troubles already way down low right here in the back of the field. Drops down. Not sure if this is intentional or not, but man, he just felt like a rock, Emery.
Yeah, not sure on the strategy there. Is something maybe going on with the car, but that is interesting to see right off the bat. He's dropped all the way back, and so is his teammate number 48. I think they got something in store here, Steve.
Yes, he is. Frankie Barroso already way down too. We'll see how this works out. Maybe some early fuel strategy, but stages are only laps 25 and 50, so very, very quick.
The field has spread out early on up front, single file as it sits. Number 26 is up front. Jamie in that 62, that Ford, he's still in 2nd. 2 teammates there. They're going to work together. Nick Lights, Tyler Honeycutt.
Yeah, right now, Roger Pierce, that championship contender right here in P7, having a pretty good run, although it is early, but what it takes. Part of the series, or the situation too, really, for Barroso and Six. Hey, you know what? Maybe they want to just stay out of the way, not get wrecked, right? You only have 1 car today, no fast repairs. Have to keep that car in one place. It's a long race today.
Yeah, and you know what? Thinking about that, Steve, maybe Frankie and Brandon Six are hanging in the back. They don't want to get caught up in an early wreck and an early caution, so that could be the strategy. That's maybe what they're doing at Charlotte. But hey, I'll tell you this. The way the field is spread out, single file up here, man, there's not even some side-by-side driving, 3 wide, no, nothing like that. So, man, it's going to be pretty calm this first stage. Interesting to see on that strategy for those buoy guys.
Yes, sir. And right now, Jamie Graham still on the outside, though. We might see this outside lane work. Charlotte has been typically known as like a one-lane track, but right now we're starting off in the day. We're going to go into the nighttime. And hey, with this recent oval refresh, we're seeing these lines come into play here. This might work out for these guys in their favor. Nick Lights, though, trying to make a move right here for P2.
Nick Lights trying to make it work, falls back to third. He's in that number 12. Tyler Honeycutt right behind him. Steve, not too much movement so far. A lot of these drivers right where they started, so not too much craziness going on besides Frankie and Brandon Six. They're dropped down 12 spots. Brandon Six is all the way in the back, 18th position. He's dropped down 15 spots. Not typical to see that happen, but they're doing that today here at Charlotte for the championship race.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, right now, Joseph Mealy, and look at this, Donnie Honeycutt fighting side by side. These guys are looking for that contender championship right there. It might not be a championship, but hey, the contender championship is still something to brag about. And right now, these guys are going for that, and that's what they got right here. So, two drivers, Joseph Mealy, and keep in mind Matthew Fleming, they were just in the championship bracket, but they fell down into this because they did not advance into this final four. So, Honeycutt, though, and then Kenny Reel, these guys have been involved in the contender playoffs the entire time. So, we'll see which one can work it out. But again, long race stages don't really matter. They're here, and we're going to have them, but they're not really, they don't mean much as far as points. It all comes down to who finishes ahead of the other person at the end of the race. So we'll definitely see some strategies involved right here. But man, it's going to be a good time. Devin Smirker, though, still holds on to that P1.
He's still up front. Talk about the contenders. Matt Fleming in that 88, that Chevy, he just missed it. So he is now in the contenders. You talked about it, and you're right, Steve. The stage one, the points don't matter, man. This is what it's all about. This is the final race. This is the championship race. So you're putting it all out there. I think these guys are being really conservative, though, from what I'm seeing early on in this race. Super conservative. And I think the drivers that are in the top four there battling for the championship, I think they like to see that. As I say that, though, we got Roger Pierce kind of in the mix, trying to get by the field. But man, oh man, tight racing, good racing early at Charlotte on this mile-and-a-half track.
Yeah, right now Roger is already working that middle line. So multiple groove racing is already working. It sounds like he has a great head of momentum right there. Good sign right there for good, clean racing. And right now, look at Nick Lights still up front, high on that line. So different lanes working in Charlotte today, but that sun is going to go down. So sunset is about 45 minutes away, and that sun's going to get brighter and brighter as we close out this stage one and stage two. So a long way to go, though, still.
Yeah, that sun might be a little issue in 3 and 4 coming out, crossing the start-finish line, but we'll see it happen. I love a night race, and this is going to be a night race here very quickly. And the track conditions will change a little bit, Steve. Talk about that. Right now, it's a little bit hot, but once that sun goes down and you have the lights on the track as it cools off, what do you think the strategy is going to be like when that happens?
Well, it's going to be tough, right? I think the track is going to get grippier. A lot more rubber going to be put on the track because of the sun, but I think we'll start to see it potentially move to a one groove racetrack. I think it'll actually get harder to pass as we go. So, I mean, right now, it might just be about that, track position, right? I mean, I think fuel might also be, a concern. These guys can easily make the fuel for stage 1 and 2. So it's going to come down to that third stage, though, that whole long segment of racing. So we'll see how that works. But man, it's going to be a long time. Stage 3 will be about 117 laps of potential green flag racing. So we'll see how that works. Multiple stages and multiple green flag pit stops are on the horizon. No pun intended.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, Devin's going to cross the start finish, and we only got 10 more laps until the end of stage 1 at that 25 mark. So this race is going on pretty quick now. Devin's up front. I think that's where he's going to want to stay all day long to win that championship. But we have other drivers like Frankie and Brandon Six staying way back. What is the strategy? It's hard to tell because that caution hasn't come out. I don't think we'll see very many of them happening today too, because everyone like I said, all these drivers are being very, very cautious to each other. So it's very conservative out here today, Steve. Shocking to see.
Yeah.
Shocking to see it happen.
Again, right? It's shocking. I mean, right now we're seeing two completely polar opposite strategies, right? I mean, we're seeing, Schumacher up front, dominating. We're seeing Roger Pierce looking pretty good right now at top 5 in the 4th place. But we see the buoy guys, right? Villalobos, 6, and Frankie Barroso. These guys are all way back, 20 seconds on back at least. And I just think that at this point, this isn't because they want to stay in the back and they want to avoid wrecks, right? There's something going on here. I couldn't tell you what it is. I know these guys, everybody can make it on fuel for the first couple of stages, so we'll see. Maybe they know something we don't, Emery.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because talk about it. Kenny Reel's back there as well. He's in that contender championship. He's out here to try to get a win, to get some bragging rights for next season, to say, hey, I got the contender championship. I'm going to go in season 6 and try to get the full championship. So what can he do out here today? He is a fantastic driver in that number 11, that Chevy. But man, oh man, strategy is already in play before the first lap around this track at Charlotte. 1.5 miles, fast track, a lot of action. Love to see it for our championship race. But let's talk about some of these drivers, Steve. Josh Larson, that 51. He's in 9th right now. He's up 5 spots. Looking very calm, looking very good early on in the race. We also have Matt Fleming. We talked about him earlier in that 88. He's up 5 spots. He's sitting 7th. A lot of good drivers, Steve. Love to see this, man.
I think for him, honestly, I think we honestly could see a situation like we saw at Phoenix, right, in the real thing. Ross Chastain kind of comes out of nowhere, wins the race, beats all the championship contenders. I've got a feeling we might see that today, right? Jamie Graham is really fast. Nick Lights is really fast. Josh Larson could be one of those guys too. He's good at these kind of tracks. This setup it kind of fits into his, preference a little bit, maybe early on in this race while the sun's out. But a lot can change. This track's going to transition quite a bit. And handling will change. Passing and the ability to pass efficiently and quickly will change. We'll see, man. A lot's on the line.
Yeah, we're seeing the leaders up front, the top 3 right now. They're about 3 seconds ahead. Roger Pearson at 27. He's in 4th. He's almost 3 seconds behind Nick Lights in the number 12. So the front drivers got some clean air. They are pulling away from the rest of the field as we only have 4 more laps left in stage 1. 21 laps in the books here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for your championship race for season 5. Who can take away with the win? Devin in at 26 looking strong early.
Yeah, right here, this is a tough race to prepare for, Emery, because the stages are really short, and and field mileage will definitely come into play, especially later in the race, right? So you kind of have to practice this race as if it's going to, be a green flag race the entire way, or at least majority of it. But man, oh man, either way, a lot going on right here. This pack right here, though, Roger Pierce, Mealy, these guys are fighting pretty hard right now.
Yeah, this is where the battle's been. Matt Fleming in the mix there. Roger Pierce, he's been stuck back here all race. He's still at 4 spots, sitting 6th. Tyler Honeycutt in that 3. He's back behind kind of that pack of 4. But you're right. This has been where the action's all been. They've been side by side, single file. You got Josh Larson in that 51, that Chevy. He's right on the tail of Tyler Honeycutt as well. And then you got 22, Donnie Honeycutt, family there in that Toyota. Can they catch up to that front pack of 4? Number 3 right now, Tyler Honeycutt on the inside, trying to make a move on Matt Fleming. Just doesn't have the speed as he's trying to take that inside lane to make it work.
Yeah, looking very strong right now. I mean, again, a lot of these guys don't have much to really, fight for, right? Tyler obviously does, and Mealy and all these guys, right? But again, going back to this, Lights, Graham, Tyler Honeycutt, they don't, like they're not going for a championship of any kind, right? So they can kind of just race their own race. Pressure's off.
Yeah, talk about pressure, though, Steve. These top guys, the 4 drivers, I bet you they got a little bit of nerves, You got Roger Pierce in here, first season. He's in a spot to get that championship win. As the caution comes out, that's going to be the end of stage 1. Devin in that 26, that Ford, he is going to be your winner. But man, Roger's in 7th, like I was talking about it. I bet you the nerves are kind of in play. Hopefully, after this stage 1 is done, that changes. You got to go out and drive. You got to let everything let go and just do your thing.
It's a great point. Yeah, Devin Sparker wins this stage 1, so great job for him. But you're right. I think one of the things that a driver might get themselves, they can get into their own heads, right? I mean, listen, you got yourself to this championship race, right? Don't necessarily do anything crazy. Don't get creative in this race, right? Like, do what has gotten you to this race. And, if taking risks, within the race might be what it takes, then maybe do it, right? If you find yourself not fast as these guys are, but you just never know, right? You got yourself into this championship race, now just employ that same mentality. Either way, lap 26 already, and man, stage 1 just came and went. It flew on by. So right now, folks, we're going to go and talk to our channel sponsors real fast. We'll go and thank them, and we'll come back to your Battle Beaver Championship race here at Charlotte. All right, folks, welcome back to the Battle Beaver Championship race here at Charlotte for the ASRA Cup Series. Man, big thanks to them for coming on board here. Go and check them out, battlebeaver.com. They have some of the best controllers, man. I'll tell you what, you can ever use. If you play, listen, Call of Duty, man, it's just any first-person shooter, any kind of game like that, man, you need a Battle Beaver in your hands. Absolutely incredible controllers, and just the absolute best you can find. So go and check them out. You can personalize your own, get different colors and whatnot. So go and design your own. Hey, Christmas is Monday. What happened? Emery, we are just sneaking up to that end of the year. And tell you what, Battle Beaver is definitely something you should put in your stocking. So great job to them for coming on board. We appreciate that. But lap 27, Devin Sparker is your pole sitter and also stage 1 winner. And man, pit stops just concluded. What did we learn there, Emery, in stage 1?
Man, these drivers out here, what I learned is there's completely different strategies going on, because we saw the Bowie team, Brandon 6, Frankie, even Kenny Real drop all the way to the back. Now we got Brandon 6. He's up in 5th. Frankie's in 7th. Kenny Real's up in 11th, but they jumped a ton of spots, so they're getting a little bit of fuel, getting some tires. I think they only got 2 tires. I'm not 100%. I think that's the only way they made that big of a jump, but it's just wild to see this come out this early on. They're gambling. I mean, this is a strategy called. They must have found something that the other teams didn't, because they're the only ones doing it. So curious to see how this plays out. Stage 1 went by so quick. 25 laps in. That's gone. Devin got the win. Congratulations to him. But now we're on to stage 2. So this goes all the way over to 55 laps. Gonna be a completely different race here, Steve. What are your thoughts, man?
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's a race that is just so different than, everything else that happens the entire season, right? So it's difficult for these guys to really kind of get themselves into that mode. I mean, stage 1 went off cleanly. I think that's a great time to kind of ease the nerves, right? Now you're into the race, almost 30 laps in, right? Now it's time to get down to work. And I think these guys are going to kind of figure that out, right? I mean, the excitement's still there, but the nerves are gone, and now you're trying to get into that mode of, getting into the race and just kind of getting into that zone, right? So that's really, really important, obviously, and a lot of these guys are doing just that.
Yeah, and one driver, we were talking about it. You don't want to do anything different that you've done in the past. You want to, be consistent. Don't do anything crazy. And one driver that's done that all season is Frankie Barroso. He's kind of been on that mix, kind of on the edge of maybe not making the cut, but he's done everything right to get him to this position, and now he's in a situation where he can battle it out with these rest of these drivers to get a win. And if he does get a win here at Charlotte, he will be a champion. And that's one driver that I'm looking out for, because Frankie has the skill. He's been very consistent, but he hasn't had that dog in him, right? He's kind of just been on the edge and doing what it takes to make it happen. Let's see what he can do today at Charlotte.
I'll tell you what, he's been hungry ever since the end of season 1. Man, season 1. What happened?
No, go on.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's been hungry ever since the end of season 1. Seriously, I mean, he's been, that season 1 championship kind of snuck away from him, and Matt Smith, earned that win. So it's tough, right? There's a lot that can happen here. He's been in multiple championship 4s, but just hasn't pulled through, and that sometimes is the case, right? That's just how it goes sometimes. And look at Denny Hamlin, right, in the real world. I'm not comparing the two, but it has that kind of vibe. So Frankie, he's got a real shot here. He's been good at Charlotte. He's won here a few times in this league, so we'll see how it goes. But right now, Devin Smecker on top of the field, and looking pretty good, looking pretty dominant early on. So we'll see how this goes in stage 2.
Devin still up front in that Ford. He's going to be on the inside. Jamie Graham in that 62, that Ford, he's back on the outside. 2 teammates, they are going to take us away. Green flags out here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Devin got a good jump on the inside, going to take us into 1 and 2. Watch out for Matt Fleming in that 88. He's now going to jump into 2nd.
A lot of fast guys here, man, right now. 3 wide, maybe in the back right here. Watch out. Marshall Harris. He almost put Roger Pierce and Nick Simpson 3 wide right there, but eases it up. Roger Pierce finds himself in P15, so this is an odd situation right here for him. Not sure what happened there in that pit stop, but man, that's a tough break so far.
Yeah, Roger Pierce down 5 spots now. Kind of in that mix. Marshall Harris trying to push it 3 wide can make it a little dangerous. That's something that a guy like number 27, Roger Pierce, does not want to be involved in, because guess what? Someone goes 3 wide like that, caution comes out, you get that car damaged, your day is done. So he's got to make up the difference here. He's got a lot of time to make up too. Man, he's dropped out back a ton of spots, Steve.
I'll tell you what, though, watch out for Roger Pierce. I think, again, right, we talked about it. I mean, Brandon Six, Frankie Barroso trying that strategy earlier, man. But Roger Pierce, listen, keep in mind, he's got Mark Whitley in his ear most of the time in these races nowadays. And he was last season's champion. So Mark Whitley knows how to get it done. Roger Pierce definitely knows how to get it done by himself. But, man, with Mark in your ear, I'll tell you what, definitely a great asset right there. So Roger Pierce, that race is not over yet for him. I think he's got some tricks up his sleeve, and we're about to find out there later on in this race. Don't count him out for sure.
Yeah, a lot of experience right there. Mark Whitley, Roger Pierce combo. He's in 14th. Let's see what he can make happen. But going back up front, Matt Fleming in that 88. He's up 9 spots. He's sitting 3rd now in front of Nick Lights, that number 12. He's running the inside lane, coming back up. Feels pretty comfortable in the car, man. He got Jamie Graham up front too in that 62 Ford. He's coming out, and he's not in the championship of the contenders, but he's coming out here and doing a fantastic job in front of the field, helping out his teammates, because the draft does and will work for you at Charlotte. This is a fast 1.5 mile track. Oh, so yeah. He loves to see that.
Yeah, and the thing about it, honestly, Fleming, honestly, this might be one of his best tracks. He's just a guy who, he actually saves his tires really, really well. And I think this is one of those tracks where he can win this race. I really do feel that way. If we get long green flag runs, especially later on in the race, I'll tell you what, he's going to be one of those guys to get that done. So we'll see how that goes. Keep in mind, M-Ray, too, they only get 4 tire sets this entire race. And this race is pretty long. And this track eats these tires up. So a lot of these guys might have taken tires right there in stage 1. But that could be the strat, right? If you're Brandon Six, Frankie Barroso, they might have just said, you know what, we're going to sit in the back, not for fuel, but for tires, right? And then they save that tire set at the end of stage 1. That might be what they did, come to think about it, Emery, saving that tires.
Absolutely. That right front, you can burn them up quick at this track. It's so hot into these corners. You got to really let off early if you want to save, but if you're up front, you really don't have a choice, and you're just going after it. Let's see if these guys can save today. Right now, Devin's figuring out he's still up front with that clean air, pulling away from the rest of the pack, so it looks like top 5, the top 4 last in stage 1 was pulling away. Now we got 5 cars pulling away from the rest of the field. Joseph Mealing at 39, he's about a second off the pack, but right there in that cutoff. Josh Larson in that 51, he's about 3 seconds off the lead. And it goes all the way down to the 18th spot, so pretty wild to see here. But 38 laps in the books. It's been a fantastic race. We appreciate everyone at home at Race Day Live tuning in for this final championship race. Thank you for being here all season long. I know we got a lot of friends and family in the chat. These drivers, you're watching them every single Tuesday, so we appreciate you being here.
Yes, sir, and big shout out to all the guys who are watching from the league. A lot of the drivers here, some of them decide, hey, you know what? I'm not in the championship race, so I'm just going to chill out. Listen, I'm the same way. I don't want to be that guy to make a mess or to cause a caution, because knowing me and my skills, listen, I'll probably end up doing that. So big shout out to all the drivers in the ASRA League for just putting on one hell of a show and one hell of a job this whole season long. It's been a great season, honestly, and right now, looking forward to season 6, starting up in February 6th. Going to be a great time. So shout out to all you guys who are watching online, and we appreciate you for sure. So going to be a good time. But right now, man, Devin Smirker on lap 40, 10 laps to go already until stage 2 concludes. That whole left side of that tower, Emery, is green and yellow. A lot of different things going on, different strategies.
Where has the race gone? I mean, wow, we are already 40 laps in the books. We're going to get to stage 2 here quickly, and the lights are going to be turning on if they haven't already, because the sun is going down. This is a day into night race. And I'll tell you what, you know this, Steve. I like a night race. I like to see the cars underneath the light, the way that shines, the way the paint schemes turn out. Big shout out to Harpoon Designs. He's been on here all season long painting these cars. He was here last season. Love to have him on board with this ASRA Cup Series. Man, what a testament on season 5. And now we're talking about, I know it's not done yet, but let's just talk about season 5 and how much competition these drivers coming out here every single Tuesday, battling. I think it's a testament to show what season 6 is going to look like. And you know what? Whoever wins tonight is crowned champion. Got a lot of bragging rights for next season. Can't wait to see that happen.
Yeah, man, it's one of those things, right, where, I mean, listen, at the end of season 4, we kind of took a step back and we're like, you know what? We got to change some things, right? Season 4 didn't really go as as we wanted, right? It wasn't super clean. It wasn't like the best racing. Changes needed to be made, and we made them, and we were bold about it, right? We didn't take any chances as far as moves we made, right? We just said, you know what, we got to fix this. We're going to do it, and we did. And right now, we produced one hell of a series and one hell of a season in season 5. And to your point, I mean, yeah, next season right now, with that schedule that we released. And a lot of changes not a lot of changes, but some changes we're implementing. It's going to get even better. So definitely appreciate all the drivers here, a lot of the guys who are already committed to next season, but also to all the sponsors. Huge shout out, as you said, right, to Harpoon Design. We'll talk about them more a little later on during a stage break or whatnot, or post race. But man, huge shout out to them, as well as Sim Motion. Huge partners. Battle Beaver. I mean, holy crap. Battle Beaver's just a massive sponsor. And for them to come on board for our finale is just humbling, but also very, very cool. So appreciate them. And Admin Box, obviously, for all the support they do. They've been with us for a long time now. So a lot of cool stuff, Emery. And man, like when you sit back and kind of enjoy it for a second, it's just, it's pretty cool.
No, you're right. Absolutely, man. Well, hey, we're going to get back on the race, though. Matt Fleming still up there in 3rd. Devin in that 26, he's up front. Oh, Matt Fleming just got the pass by Jamie Graham in that 62. Nick Lights, he's in 4th. Tyler Honeycutt's in 5th. That's your top 5. And now we got 6 cars breaking away from the rest of the pack. Josh Larson still in that 51. He's in 7th spot, but he's 4 seconds, almost 5 seconds now behind those top 6 cars. So we're kind of seeing a trend late in this race. If you see that happen, you want to be in that top 5, top 6, because with the clean air, you can really pull away. So that's something to think about for these drivers late in this race when you're trying to go for that win.
Oh, for sure. And again, like a guy like a Nick Lights, right? Jamie Graham, these guys are still going for points overall, right? I mean, it's still a good thing to be that, top 10 finishing driver for the championship overall driver, standings, right? Like the traditional, style point. So that still matters to these guys. And, but just finishing, really well and in front of your sponsors and whatnot, that's what it comes down to. So a lot of commitments. But look at this, Matthew Fleming making a move here for P1 potentially. Our first move for the race lead. Dives down right here in turn 1, takes it away from Devin Smirker, man. Matthew Fleming, I told you, if we get green flag runs later in this race, you better watch out for that 88.
No, you're right. And guess what? 26 has got to race a little bit different now. Now he's got company. He's got 2 other cars in front of him. Nick Lights, Matt Fleming, two good drivers. Devin's got to be careful to not burn these up, right? So you want to be consistent. You want to be cautious because guess what? Right now, if you're top 3, it's okay. You don't need to lead every single lap. You got to sit back, be patient, and let the race come to you. And I think that's what he's doing. I don't think he's going to push it too hard as now he's making a pass in 2nd spot in front of Nick Lights. Yeah,
to your point, I think he's getting too excited. I think Smirker, I think he sees he's got he sees blood in the water, right? He wants to get that stage win, but think big picture. It's about that championship. Either way, right now, Matthew Fleming going to cross the line here, lap 50, and he will become your stage 2 winner.
Caution hasn't came out yet. I think it will, but it makes we go one time around. Matt Fleming, if it stays here, will be your stage 2 winner, but it's still green. Let's see what happens here, Steve. Devin still in 2nd. He's on the outside, touches the wall. Matt Fleming's going to come across the start-finish line.
Oh, I'm being told, my apologies. It's actually lap 55 is the stage end, so look at us.
Well, it happens. You got me sold. We're still green though. Matt Fleming still up front. Devin and Nick Lights, your top 3. We got a few more to go until the end of this stage. I might have messed this up too. I might have said 50. I don't know, but all is well as these now top 3 drivers are pulling away and they're long gone.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man.
Couple guys. Yeah.
Yeah. I sold it. Man, I'll tell you what, if that Discord was any cleaner, I might have been able to find out, but holy crap. Yeah, lap 55 is that stage end. My apologies, folks. This is why I'm in the booth and not race control, so hey.
That's right. I was going to say, good thing race control wasn't listened to the broadcast because we would have been ended on stage 50, which could have messed up everything for the drivers. So
yes,
that's
sir.
Why we're in the booth. That's why we're not driving.
Either way, Matthew Fleming still up front in the lead. The contender driver right now looking very, very good. I'll tell you what, he is strong here at Charlotte. He's looking to get that contender championship. It's not the actual championship as he wanted. Fleming's been around here for quite a while. He actually meant to run season 5 here as a part-time driver, but finds himself going for a contender championship. So pretty cool to see right there for him. Man, couldn't have come at a better time. He is looking very sharp today. One more lap to go for stage 2.
Yeah, Matt Fleming, one of the drivers that I would say early on, looking at this race, he's going to be the one to beat for that contender series, that championship, as he's very good out here. Charlotte up 11 spots, still up front. If he does cross start-finish line, he will be your stage 2 winner. He still has Nick Lights and Devin in that top 3 right behind him. What can they do as they come to the tri-oval? One more time across, and Matt Fleming in that 88, that Chevy, is going to be your stage 2 winner. Congratulations to him. He is a contender, but looking very, very fast out here today at Charlotte.
Yes, sir. Awesome job by Fleming, man. He is just a rocket today for sure on those long runs. Nick Lights, his teammate, looking very fast as well, P2. So a great job for him overall this playoff run. So far, I'll tell you what, if Nick Lights was in the playoffs and not a part-time driver as he came into, man, he'd be a contender for sure. But right now, looking very, very strong. Before they go and take pit road, we'll go and thank our sponsors. We'll come right back. All right, folks, we are back for the Battle Beaver Championship race here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And man, right now, Matthew Fleming is your Stage 2 winner. Been a fantastic race so far. He is just looking very, very strong today in that front. Looking awesome as usual. So right now, lap 57, about 110 laps to go until the race concludes, and we'll find out a champion. Two of them, actually, for the championship and for the contender battle. So looking very, very good. Matthew Fleming normally would have had that yellow banner on his car for the contender drivers. As you see on the left side of your screen, the yellow drivers are the contenders and the green ones are the championship drivers. So a little glitch right there. It should have been yellow, but hey, all good. That tower does show the accurate one. So either way, he is leading us out back right now, looking very good. Emery, man, hey, stage 1, stage 2 now over. What are we learning? What are we thinking this race is going to come down to?
Man, all I know is that if you're in that top 6, that top 5 spot, this clean air, these cars are taking off. So, I mean, that's something to think about late in this race. If you're in the middle or late, back further in the pack, it could change some stuff. You really want to be in that top spot to pull away from the pack, and I think we'll see that unfold late in this race. But man, 58 laps down has been super clean for a championship race. That's what you want to see. We got a smaller field, but that's okay. I mean, this is good racing out here. This is a fast and aggressive track, and these guys are making it look easy. But we talked about these championship drivers. We've talked about these contenders, but some of the other drivers that are fantastic, that come out here every Tuesday and have a lot of fun, like Michael Lamphere in the 13. He's up 4 spots. He's in 11th. He's looking solid today. He's been consistent. You got guys like Josh Larson, 51, the Chevy. He had a chance to make it into that championship spot. He just missed it, and he's in 8th. He's up 8 spots and looking good too. So, man, these drivers all out here, all these guys, love to see this, man. Late in this race, 18 drivers, big field, having a lot of fun. This is what it's all about, Steve. I cannot wait to see what happens and who can pull off this victory.
Yeah, I think this is the tough thing, right? I mean, the way that the fuel works at this point, it's going to be so close. I mean, right now, these guys, we might, if it stays green, it's going to be so close between, do they need to pit 3 times or do they have to pit 2 times? It depends on who saves fuel, who just wants to go all out. If we get a timely caution, who knows? But so far, knock on wood, it's been caution free. And I just think we might, this is a race that we could see go all the way, right? It's just so far looking very good. Clean driving, respectable driving, right? A lot of guys have a lot going on. If that's the case, those long runs, that fuel strategy, and also having enough tires on every pit stop, that might matter too. And as we talked about earlier, I've got a feeling that a couple drivers might have saved a set of tires in that first stage, namely Brandon Six, Frankie Barroso, maybe some more Bowie Esport drivers. It's tough to say. Roger Pierce might have as well. Earlier on, we have no confirmation of that yet, but that could be the case. So a lot of different things, and we've seen Smirker just be dominant up front. So who knows, man?
Yeah, and I don't want to jinx it, but I'm almost certain that we'll have a green flag pit stop here late in this. We got to go all the way to 167. Those stages are done. So green flag pit stop brings the action. That can change a lot of things for some of these drivers. We've seen it quite a few times this season. But man, tonight might be one of them for sure. If you like those long runs, if you're that driver that likes a long run, this is your race. Because that short run, I don't think that's in your cards tonight. This car's off. Matt Fleming and Nick Lights in that 12, that Chevy on the outside is going to take us away into turns 1 and 2. Green flag is out, and we are back racing at Charlotte Motor Speedway for Season 5 Championship Race.
Looking very good so far. Coming out of the backstretch, Nick Light's going to make a move down low into that P1 spot, into the Harpoon Design number 12 machine, looking very good. And you know what? A great segue. Let's go for the final time in Season 5. Harpoon Design, bring the noise. Let's get it. And there we go. Right now, Nick Light's in the Harpoon Design racing machine. Tell you what, if you want to be the best, you have to look the best. And Harpoon Design can make that happen. Go and check them out, harpoondesign.com. They'll get you a paint made, and you will not be disappointed. Right now, big battle right here. Up in the middle of the field. Look at this. All four championship contender drivers. Pretty close together. Brandon 6, Frankie Barroso, Roger Pierce right now making a move. He is flying through the field. I told you earlier, do not count out Roger Pierce. He knows how to get around this track, and he has the skills to make it happen. And right now, looking very solid.
Yeah, Roger the 27, I think this is the time where he really needs to test that car. He needs to figure out, hey, do I got the speed or do I not? Because right now, early on in the race, he said, hey, I'm falling back, I'm just chilling. Now he's going to make this push. He's got a lot to make up, but he can do it in that 27. Love to see him right now pushing as much as he can. He's got some traffic ahead of him.
Yeah, and this is the case right here. Lap 65, we're almost at 100 laps to go, and still not at quite halfway, but those two stages, they're done and out of the way, but now it comes down to the endurance part of the race. And right now, these guys are racing so close together, side by side. At some point, though, the tires will come into play, and we'll see these guys be single file, but this is not what you want if you're the kind of guy that doesn't want to get involved in a wreck. These guys only have that one car. They have to be careful. Roger Pierce making it 3 wide.
Yeah, I think that was a situation where, hey, Roger said, hey, Jamie, I'm a little bit faster. Let me pass. He went middle, and now he's gone. Made up a ton of spots there. Jamie Graham in that 62, his teammate, doing a really good job out here, I think. I think Roger, I think that's huge benefit for him, for Jamie to be out here doing what he's doing. So love to see that happening, as now we're seeing the 51 of Josh Larson trying to make that pass. He's on the outside, hits the wall a little bit. He's going to fall back a few spots. Man, oh, man. We haven't talked about this a lot either. Brandon 6 in that Chevy. He's in 8th on that inside, just hanging back. But man, oh, he's got a lot of traffic around him, Steve. He's got to battle. He's got to watch what he's doing here. Crazy enough, Brandon 6, haven't talked about it, but look at him go.
Yeah, a couple of these guys, I feel like Brandon 6, maybe even Frankie Barroso, I think they're trying to get through the field, but also save tires, because, I mean, look at Roger Pierce. He is just flying through the field right now, and already in P2, he is not saving one bit. And I think this is the case for him. He's just go right now. And I kind of like the strategy. Again, last season at Auto Club for the finale, we saw Mark Whitley just not worried about fuel, just went for it every single time. And right now, always on the offense, and Roger Pierce is in that position. You never know, in the back of the pack, could see a big wreck that takes out some contenders. Roger Pierce looking pretty strong right now, man.
Yeah, Roger, we've seen that before too. Roger out front, clean air. He's way ahead of the field, but now this is something that Roger Pierce can hit every single line he has. So all he's got to do is hit his marks, and he's so consistent. Roger Pierce is one of those drivers where he works on those consistencies, which makes him a really good driver. You can see it on every single track, and right now I think he's the most comfortable, is out front, clean air, doing what he can do. Can he stay up front? 70 laps in here at Charlotte, looking very good early on here. Can't wait to see what happens there. Back in the field, man, we've got everybody else. Devin now in the 26. He's dropped back to 5th. He's 4 spots down. He's in that Ford.
Yeah, right now, this middle of the pack is pretty scary. Marshall Harris got loose right there. Out of 4, I believe. Got to be careful of that. If you're Frankie, if you're, these guys in the back of the field, these championship drivers, you do not want to see that through your windshield. But a lot of these guys looking pretty good. Even Devin right here kind of holding on to it. Right now in P5, it just doesn't seem like he's really pushing either. So I think a lot of these guys have some more motives that they're watching out for. Fuel potentially, definitely tire saving. We'll see, man. A lot of these guys are just pushing right now. Nick Lights especially, 3 seconds of a lead right now out front.
No, you're right there. And man, can fuel come into strategy there? Obviously, and like I talked about it before this start of this, after the second stage, is, man, we're going to have a green flag pit stop. So it changes everything when that happens, because it's challenging to get off this track, to get down, to not lose spots, and then you're getting tires, you're getting fuel. This guy's got to figure it out, because pit stops are going to be coming shortly, as these lap times and these laps are going by quickly. Lights are out here at Charlotte.
Yeah, this right here, I feel like is the most vulnerable time of the race for these drivers, right? I mean, contender drivers, championship drivers, if you're going for a championship, this right here is sketchy. You want to get through this part of the race. Once tires kind of set in and they get used up, that's when drivers start to get single file and it becomes harder to pass, right? So right now they have to kind of get through that phase, and then once they do, it'll be easier to pick people off. But being too wide the entire time around this racetrack, 1.5 mile track, it's not easy.
Yeah, that triangle with loose tire, with some tires that are worn, you get a little loose. That is very dangerous, as it's not easy to control this car. You're going that fast. You're going 178, 180 miles per hour across that triangle. It can get a little sketchy, but right now we've seen it all day. Green flag. I don't want to jinx it. We haven't had a caution yet.
Hey, right now though, watch out for this backpack. They're getting kind of mixy. Villalobos, yeah, Donnie Honeycutt right here, back of the pack. I'll tell you what, Donnie is not back here for no reason other than holding on to those tires. I've got a feeling he's a smart guy, man. He's back here for a reason. Same thing with Kenny Reel. These guys going for that contender championship. We'll see what they can offer here later on in this race. But lap 76, under 100 laps to go, Emery, already.
Yeah, Donnie Honeycutt, DJ Honeycutt, all those guys. Love to see that. You're right. Kenny Reel's back here. He's only 2 spots from when he started. He's in 13th. But hey, he's probably saving some fuel. It's all about that strategy. Even Frankie Barroso, though, Steve, we talked about him early, how he's so consistent, kind of hangs back and then makes his way through the pack. He's in 11th. He's 7 spots down. Not up there with the rest of his teammates. So I'm not sure. Actually, I take that back. Brandon Six is right in front of him. So again, Steve, this strategy play, the way this is unfolding, is very, very wild here at Charlotte.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can promise you, all 4 of these guys in green right here, they definitely practiced a lot this week, right? As far as, you know, different strategies, you know, fuel and how long tires are, when to push, when not to push, right? And this could just be part of their strategy. I mean, these 2 guys have been, you know, joined at the hip, Six and Frankie. So I've got a feeling whatever they're doing right now, they're working together on, and, you know, at the end of the race, you know, it'll be, you know, just a 2 guys, you know, fighting, right? No one's a teammate on the last lap, as they say. So that could be the case here right now. But either way, Roger Pierce making a good fight for this right now, looking very, very strong. I believe actually Nick Lights might be shutting off his engine in the corners, if I heard that right. Let's ride on board real fast. So yes, sir, he is. Might be clutching it, actually. Just putting in that clutch makes the engine work a little less and save some fuel. So that's what Nick's doing right here. Roger Pierce, potentially the same thing. We'll listen on board too.
Saving a little bit of fuel, Steve. I mean, we've got, what, 87 laps left. A long ways to go. That first stage was at 25. Second stage was at 55. And then you got a long third stage, well, third end of the race, all the way to the 167 mark. So 85 laps is a long time.
Oh, yeah.
These guys got to save and save and save as much as they can do, as Roger Pierce is up front, but now getting passed by the number 39. So did Roger kind of burn him up a little bit? We saw him move up there in second, trying to track down Lights, but now he's kind of falling back. Maybe he's starting to feel the wear and tear on those tires. Said, hey, I need to back it up a little bit in these corners, slow it down, because it's a long race.
Yeah, this is the tough part. If this thing stays green, right, I'll put my crew chief hat on real quick. If this thing stays green, there's a chance that these guys might have to pit 3 times for fuel. But if you're in the back, if you're kind of holding on to your fuel, if you're really being, you know, super conservative, I think, capitalized think, you can make it on 2 stops if it stays green. So that's, I think, what we're going to start to see potentially out of these guys. Roger Pierce obviously saved nothing on the way to the front right here, so he might be finding out now that, hey, you know what? That might have been a bad decision. Who knows? Maybe it's a good decision. We're going to find out, but according to the notes, that might be what we're looking at here, Emery.
Now, one driver that can do a really good job at that is Brandon Six. We've seen it all season long, where he can save fuel, save tires, some way, somehow makes it up to the front. He's been really dominant all season long. I know he wants to come out here and get that win. Can he make it happen? I'll tell you, he's got a lot of talent around him. that he has to beat. He's got Roger Pierce, all those other drivers, Frankie, all the other drivers up in front that can try to get this win and try to steal it from him. But man, I don't know what's going to happen here. Nick Lights, that number 12, the Chevy, still up front, way up front. And like I said, Steve, we got 4 cars. So Nick Lights is number 12 in the first. Then you got 88 and Fleming. He's in 4th. They're about half a second ahead of those guys in the 5th, 6th, 7th spot. They're kind of falling off the mark. So
yeah,
that's happened every single time.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now. Mealy obviously is showing up at the party in P2 right now. So it's obvious that some guys are being ultra aggressive and being kind of on that offensive strategy of just, you know, going all out and seeing what happens. And then there's guys who are being pretty conservative. So, I mean, different things, right? You never know what can happen, especially later on as we go. But one guy I want to point out who's having a great race so far are these guys right here. I mean, Josh Larson looking very good in P6, but then Marshall Harris right now in P7 was just in P4, got passed by a few drivers. So either way, looking very, very good right now. About at the halfway point, a little past the halfway point of this race. So looking very strong.
Hey, you kind of read my mind. I was going to talk about that 21 of Marshall Harris and that Toyota. He's in 7th, up 9 spots. Been super consistent. Also want to talk about a driver, the number 46 of Nick Simpson. He's in that Chevy. He's in 11th, up 7 spots. So feeling pretty comfortable here at Charlotte. Hanging around the big boys here in this championship race. Love to see that.
Yeah, Nick Simpson looking pretty strong right now. P11, obviously a smaller field. Kenny Reel gets loose right there. Goes through the paint. Whew, hold on to it. Strong move right there. But yeah, that could have been close right there. But again, this is what I talk about as far as like the Hornet's Nest, right? If you're those drivers going for that championship, I mean, right now, Brandon Six, Frankie Barroso, these guys are around. These guys, you know, it's just tough, right? I mean, these guys are usually in the front of the in front of the pack, right? So they're not really racing around these guys all the time. You know, when it comes to Nick Simpson, Marshall Harris, Tyler Honeycutt in the grass right there too. Woo! Got it close. So these guys are racing around guys they don't really race around this season. So it comes down to, hey, you know, who's gonna, you know, be good to me? Who's gonna be, you know, racing me hard? You never know. But Joseph Mealy back to the front.
And talk about that grass. I promise you, Charlotte's one of the only tracks where you can kind of get that front left and then maybe that rear tire in that grass and be okay as long as you keep that steering wheel straight. But man, other tracks, you're in the grass, you're gone for whatever reason. In Charlotte, you can kind of cut that corner and get away with it. Obviously, you don't want to do that, but it happens. It can happen here. And man, 51 of Josh Larson, Steve, is now up 10 spots. He's sitting 4th, about to make another pass in the 3rd spot. Josh Larson, love to see him come out and say, hey, I'm still here. Look at me go. Let me try to get a win out here at Charlotte. I like Josh Larson. He's a great driver. Been here for a long time. Really cool cat. Doing really well out here at Charlotte.
And I'll tell you what, it gets better every season. I mean, right now it's pretty evident, right? Right now in P3, looking very, very strong. Obviously, different strategies. Probably not saving tires at this point. Just wants to get to the front. But either way, this goes back to my point earlier, right? These guys who aren't in a situation for a championship, whether it be a championship or a contender championship, they can just go for it without any pressure, right? The chains are off. It's the last race of the season. Try and sneak out, you know, sneak away a win. Right now, Josh Larson might do that.
Yeah, that would be a testament. He's got the car to do it today at Charlotte. Can he make it happen? He's got to get past Joseph Mealy and Nick Lights right now, but also these drivers in the back. As we have now, I believe, guys going into the pits. As this has started. Half the field, almost half the field, have now dropped into the pits. We got Roger Pierce, Jamie Graham's in there, Nick Lights, Nick Simpson, all getting some fuel and some tires.
Yeah, watch out for these guys. These are going to be the ones who I want to focus on later in this race. Can they make it one more stop? I don't think they can. So this is going to be the part where we have to focus on, can they make, you know, three pit stops? Or can they cut it down to 2? We're going to find out. But Joseph Mealy, your race leader, comes down. Oh, Josh Larson into the wall. Oh, no, into the wall right there. Coming into pit road. Doesn't have huge damage, but that'll definitely be a head scratcher. Unfortunate for him. Looks pretty decent.
Yeah, Devin right there behind him in that Ford, that 26. He's in the pits. No harm, no foul with Josh getting loose into the wall in the pits. And now we have on the track right now, Brandon 6, Kenny Real, Frankie, all still out there, and all teammates continuing to push. They're still on the track, not going into the pits. I think they figured something out. We talked about this, Steve. Brandon 6 and Frankie still rolling while the whole field has gone into the pits. I think Matt Fleming is the only other driver out there staying out on the track.
Yes, sir. Everyone else coming down pit road. Richard Woodruff right now coming back on to pit road. Nick Simpson already out. Kenny Real coming down pit road as well. So right now, Matthew Fleming, he's figured something out too. He's coming down pit road. Here he is. Fleming down pit road. How much longer can 6 and Frankie make this right here? This could be it. Every single lap counts. You can tell at this point, it is confirmed, Emery, in my mind, that they are working together to make this fuel thing work.
Oh, absolutely. And we talked about it. Brandon 6 last week, he said, hey, I'm going to put a ton of laps in Charlotte to figure this out to make it work. Now, as Frankie comes in, 6 still stays on the track. Frankie's teammate says, I'm dropping in the pits, going to get some fuel, get some tires. And Brandon 6 saved fuel late in this race and says, I can make it one more time around, and I promise you he will go into the pits after this lap. Unbelievable strategy here for the Bowie E team and Brandon 6. Can they make this work at Charlotte to win this championship? Unbelievable. I cannot wait to see how this finish ends. Now he comes in the pit, Steve.
Here he comes, gives up that lead right here. Frankie Barroso, his teammate, already on pit road. He's going to be heading off right there. 4 tires. So again, 6 is going to have that 1 extra lap advantage on fuel. So we'll see if that plays out in the end. But man, approaching 100 laps. 70 laps to go here, Marie. Still a long way to go, man.
Yeah, here's the flip side of it. You got Nick Lights and Devin already out there on the track. They're making some time. They're making it work. They can save right now to do exactly what they did right there in that pit stop. So now Devin's turning laps. He's making up time. It's all about the end there, though, Steve. I mean, it's just wild to have Brandon 6, one of the championship drivers, be a lone wolf and stay out there one more lap than the whole field.
Yeah, it's
when
a risk.
Frankie was pushing him.
It's a risk for sure. I mean, and that's the thing too, right? A lot of these guys, Smirker, Joseph Mealy, they got the undercut, right? So if they're good to go on fuel, then at this point, they're way out in front now because of the tires. They have fresh tires. They can blow past these guys, on those fresh tires. They had like 3 or 4 laps on those guys. So, I mean, it all comes down to which strategy is going to work, right? Smirker obviously is choosing a more aggressive, strategy in the sense of just going to go for it, right? Saving some fuel, yes, but not a whole lot. And then, Roger Pierce kind of doing that same thing. We saw him come on strong at the beginning of stage 3, but right now still in P6, very good, a very, very good spot. But again, right, how's it going to end? That's the question.
Yeah, Roger Pierce is in front of that pack, so he can kind of get pushed. He's got clean air, but another driver that has clean air is Nick Lights. He's way up front. He's about 3 seconds ahead of P3 with Devin and 26 right in between. So that clean air can really come into play and help out. These guys just got to hit their marks up front and make that work. But you're right, Roger Pierce, pretty good position to make this happen. He's still got traffic ahead of him, though. Kenny Rear right there. Matt Fleming in the 88. He's fast, so you don't got to worry about him. Jamie Graham, he's in 4th, man. It's just wild.
Yeah, keep in mind, too, Nick Lights pit about a lap earlier, I believe, than Devin Smirker. So he, again, has the tires, but it all comes down to that fuel. I've got a funny feeling at this point. Lap 100, 67 laps to go. Again, fuel can go about 30-ish laps, maybe 32, maybe. So, I mean, right now it's going to come down to be very, very close if this thing stays green, which so far it has.
Yeah, I got word. Josh Larson had some damage to that car. He's in that 51. He's now coming out of the pits. He's going to be 4 laps down. Unfortunate day for him, but man, looked real strong early on. He's getting back on the track, says, I'm not done. I'm going to go out there and finish this race. So Josh Larson, unfortunate, but still out there.
Yeah, we saw him have damage on the entrance of that pit road, but right now, yeah, unfortunate for him, but hey, long race to go. You never know what can happen. Devin Smirker, though, gets his way to the front, passes Nick Light. So here he is, Devin Smirker, your championship contender. What can he do right now up at the front? Looking very solid. Matthew Fleming right here, contender drivers, him and Mealy teammates, and Kenny Reel right there as well. So contender drivers side by side.
Kenny Reel, Roger Pierce making that pass. Kenny makes that pass through Joseph Mealy in the 39 to Chevy. This is where the action's at. Man, Roger Pierce all day long has been in the mix with a pack of drivers. This is kind of how it's playing out for him, and he's got away in stage 2 and got up front. He got in that second spot, but the whole race been eventful for him.
Yeah, right now Marshall Harris on the way outside lane. Joseph Mealy right there as well. Seeing a couple 3 wides here and there, but right now, man, this is getting close as we see Nick Simpson having a great run in P6. This is exactly what he wants to end his season. Very good job there in that 46 hour in Sun Machine.
Up 12 spots, been really good all day. Right ahead of Marshall Harris, Frankie Barroso. Now he was out there, he pushed Brandon 6, one more lap through, came in, got pits. He fell back, but he's already up to 8th. He's 4 spots from where he started, but I think he likes that position as well. You talked about it, Steve. We're going to have to make another pit stop. They don't have the fuel to make it happen, but man, oh man, you got to save those tires, got to keep it clean.
Yeah, at this point right now, I mean, you know, Smirker, right, Nick Lights, these guys are winning that tire strategy as far as being out front and whatnot. But keep in mind, I mean, you know, 6 and Barroso right here, they're only 2.5 seconds back. I mean, they're not far away at all. As we see, I think Nick Simpson slaps the wall right there, so getting close, getting dicey. But man, 60 laps to go here at the line.
60 laps will go quick at Charlotte. It's only a mile and a half. Very fast track. The lights are on. This is my favorite time of the race. You can start seeing those cars shimmer a little bit with the paint jobs. The track looks really good. Couldn't ask for a better race here for Season 5 championship race here at Charlotte. I want to thank everybody at home at Race Day Live tuning in. We got a big turnout. Appreciate you being here. We got on board right now. We're looking. Great shot by the producers there.
Championship drivers side by side, Pierce and Smirker. Pierce gonna get that right there. Goes on by. Starting to have a feeling that Smirker might not have taken tires right there. He's getting past here quite handedly. I wonder if that might be the case here right now.
Try to get some more details on that as Devin is falling all the way back now to 5th. He's going to get past again, possibly to 6th. Marshall on the inside on the backstretch.
Keep in mind, Emery, we talked about stage 1, right? I think a couple drivers, potentially 6 and Barroso, saved a set of tires at the end of stage 1. I don't think they took tires then. That's why they were so far back, potentially. But right now, it looks like Smirker is just falling off the cliff. He might have saved his tire set for his next pit stop. We'll see how that works out.
Could play out that way, but now we got Frankie and Brandon 6 right by each other, helping each other out with teammates there.
Hey, but
they've been together all day long.
Yes, sir, but don't count out Roger Pierce. Look at him, P2, and Kenny Reel at the lead. These guys aren't giving it up. Roger Pierce looking very strong. Kenny Reel, contender series driver, trying to make his way into this race win, trying to get his first win. Man, 110 laps into this race. What can Kenny Reel do? And Roger Pierce right there as well. So I think these guys might be committed to that 3 pit stop strategy. If that is actually the case, we'll see how that goes. But man, these guys are just giving it their all. Very cool to see.
Yeah, Roger Pierce about a half a second off the leader as we fall back a little bit. James Kaufman, haven't talked about him, the number 25. He's in that Chevy. He's up 5 spots, sitting 12th. Got to be pretty happy with that today. Joseph Mealy, Nick Lights. Nick Lights was all the way up to the front. Now he's fallen back to 9th. He's in the Chevy, number 12. He's 4 spots from where he started.
Yes, sir. James Kaufman looking very good. Has kept his nose clean the entirety of the race, right? Has done that for the most part this season. Very good driver, very clean driver. Definitely awesome to see him in this race. Devin Smirker coming down pit road right here. What's this? On lap 112. Championship contender comes down pit road right here. Seemingly, maybe Emery comes down and take those 4 tires. We're going to find out real fast and see what he does. This could be a lot.
Yeah, your pole sitter coming down by himself to get tires and fuel. Gonna get back on the track. I didn't see this coming, Steve.
I did not either, but hey, you know what? This might work for him right here. Comes down pit road, takes the 4 tires, and off he goes. Smart move. This right here, he takes the full tires too, or the full fuel too, so he'll have to pit once more for sure. But right now, looking pretty good. He might be banking on a caution, a late caution. We're not too sure. We'll find out for sure. Watch out for that blue line. Don't want to cross that too early.